Hey everyone, welcome back to MLWorks. In this video, we'll be discussing how to automate machine learning workflow using GitHub Actions. A machine learning workflow is a combination of different components from data loading to data pre-processing and then machine learning training and then deployment of the machine learning code. Now with GitHub Actions, we'll try to automate this pipeline and basically we'll try to ensure with a single click we are able to run this whole pipeline. Okay, so GitHub Action is a tool for CI/CD and it is like part of a software development lifecycle where you have any new releases that needs to be done. With the help of GitHub Action, you just have to click once and the whole software will run, it gets deployed. Okay, so that's the whole idea behind GitHub Actions, and it has a bunch of features like workflow, which is nothing but your bunch of jobs that you can run, and jobs and steps is one of the feature, which is nothing but a number of steps you want to run inside your job. And then there are certain features like events, runners, and actions, which are like when do you want to trigger your workflow, or where you want to run your workflow, either in Ubuntu environment or some other environment. And action is nothing but a piece of code that is usable by the jobs. Okay, so that is the basic features of GitHub Actions that I would recommend you to go ahead and read it. Okay, this is just a brief introduction. So in this video, what we'll do, right? So we have so many steps here, 11 and till 15 steps we have. Okay, so we'll try to implement all these 15 steps, and then we'll see each step how to implement them and understand whether it is working or not, if there is an issue or not. Okay, so the first thing is setting up a GitHub repo. Now first thing, let me go to my repository here, right? I'll create a repository here. So this is called maybe ML GitHub Actions. Okay, so this is done testing GitHub Actions for machine learning. So this is that, and I'm adding a README document, and no GitHub, this I'm ignoring right now because we'll go ahead and create it once we clone the repository. So first step is, let me go here. So first step is setting up the GitHub repo. So we have created our GitHub repo. Oh, yeah. So next I'll just copy this and I'll clone it locally. So git clone, and I'm done here. Yeah, so this clone is ready, and now I'll switch to ML GitHub Actions. Here I switch to the repo. Okay, now let us see what was the step. Clone the repo, it's done. Open the repo in code editor. Okay, let us open this in code editor if it is possible. Let me do it. Code dot here. This will switch to the yeah, so it opened my Visual Studio Code, and here I have that README document. Okay, so now next part is what I'll do is I have a bunch of code for machine learning. So the whole idea of this tutorial is to understand how to automate, not to understand how the machine learning works. So what we'll do is we'll take a piece of code which is already running a model, okay, and which is also generating the evaluation metric as well. So we'll copy paste that code and push it to this Git repository, or use it inside this Git repository, and then commit this code to the remote repository. So for now, okay, we have this empty folder with just README document. Now what I'll do is let me open this one, and here I'll just go here. Let me maximize this also. Okay, I'll just switch to dummy.test, and I'll copy a bunch of things here. So first is I'll copy kaggle.data, kaggle-data. I'll switch it to, let me make it, while copying I want to recursively copy since it's a folder. Now ML with actions. Okay. Okay, so let me go back a bit, and then here I have to do ML GitHub Actions. Yeah, so this will copy Kaggle data inside ML GitHub Actions folder. So that is there. Now once that is done, okay, since I copied it, let us see if here, yeah, so I have Kaggle data here. Now next is I want to copy, if you see I have requirements.txt and train.py. now I want to copy those as well. So I'll copy requirements.txt. I don't no longer need recursive option. Next I'll pass in train.py. I'll send it to GitHub Actions. Now if you see here, I have copied it. You can see, right? Kaggle data is present, and then requirements.txt is present, train.py is present. Now here you will see the code for training the model, generating the evaluation metric, and then saving it as a file. For instance, just if you want me to go through this, just we are importing the packages here. Okay, then loading the data set, and then splitting the data set here, till here, and then we are identifying the numerical and categorical columns. Once that is done, we are doing pre-processing. This is kind of a pre-processing that we are doing. Okay, so combining the pipeline using column transformer. Okay, and then selecting the k best features. Okay, feature selection is happening. Okay, and then we are applying the random forest classifier, and then we are creating a pipeline. Once combining the pre-processing and the training pipeline. So here we had pre-processing pipeline, here we had training pipeline. We both combining it here, and then we are fitting it on top of training and testing train dataset. Once that is complete, the pipeline is completed, we are generating certain metrics like FN score and accuracy. Okay, and then we are plotting the confusion matrix, and it is stored as PNG file. And then we are creating a pipeline which is getting stored. Here it is getting stored into a text file, the metrics, and we are saving the pipeline as skops. This is a library for saving the pipeline, skline pipeline. Okay, so that's the basic code, and the requirements.txt contains all the packages that is required for your machine learning to run. And here we have a data set. Let me see this one. So it is some banking data set. Okay, so it's a bank churn data set. Okay, that's it. Now let me go back to here. So what we have done, so setting up the GitHub repo is done, cloning and switch to the repo folder is done, open the repo in the code editor is done, create a requirements.txt is there because we already copied it, and we downloaded the data set. So we already had the data set, so we moved it from some other folder to our repo folder, which is Kaggle data is the data that we moved. Next, so once that is done, what we do is we want to keep track of our data set. Okay, so what we can do is there is a command called as Git LFS track data. Okay, so if I go here, not this one, here you will see I'm here. I will go to Kaggle data and Git LFS track. So I want to track train.csv. So it's already supported. Okay, I think it has already been tracked. Okay, so it's, let me just put it for test as well then. Yeah, so now what will happen is it will also track your test data set as well. Okay, so what will happen is, consider, right, you are it will keep track of your data set once you merge it to your GitHub repo in remote repository. And if you may update your code here and locally, you want to ensure that changes is also done in remote where it is stored. So that's why we want to track those files as well. Okay, so that's the whole point of Git LFS track. And for installation, since I'm using Ubuntu, this is how you want to install Git LFS: sudo apt install Git LFS. So this is done, and we talked about the code, what is the confusion metrics, and what is the ML training job, that is random forest that is running. Now what we want to do is, since I have showed you this code, okay, ML training dataset code, where it is, this one, let me run this file once. Okay, so python 3 train.py. So it will try to run that whole training code. and generate 3 files. Okay, so let us wait here. If I just refresh, it has to generate those metrics. Okay, which is metrics.txt and then bank pipeline.scops and model results.png. So that should run. Now it's taking a little bit of time, maybe because the amount of data is quite huge, because it is around 20 MB file, the training set. So it may take time. Okay, so it's already done. Accuracy is 84% and F1 score is 0.69. So we have our metrics.txt here, and then we have our pipeline, and then we have our model results. Okay, so this is there. Now what we want to do is let us create gitignore file dot gitignore. Okay, and let me pass all the 3 files, which is bank underscore pipeline dot skops, and then we have model underscore results dot png, and then we have metrics dot txt. Okay, so we don't want to push these 3 files into Git repo. We want to ignore those files and we want to keep it local. Okay, so that's the whole point of gitignore. Now what we want to do is, let me go back to the steps. So we have our, okay, we created gitignore and we added those files. Now we want to git add, commit and push. So let me go here. So git add and then add all the files. Okay, git commit -m new changes. Okay, now git push origin main. I want to push it to the main branch. Okay, so it is asking for the passcode and username and password. So let me show you how to get it. First, let me go here. From here you have to go to settings, and here you will have your developer settings, and here you can take your personal access token and generate a new token. Okay, so I created recently for dummy test. I'll just copy that. So if you see here, don't try to copy this GitHub token, because I'll be deleting this one after this video. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll copy this, and wherever it has been asked here, I'll just paste it here. Let us see if it is getting merged or not. Let me try it again. So yeah, so what is happening in the backend is, this repository contains a bunch of things, right, which I showed you here, which is all these files, all this data set. Okay, what I can do is, if I'm not using Git LFS and if I want to just keep the data locally, I can just pass Kaggle data also here, and I can ignore that data set also, and it won't get uploaded to the repo. So for now, what happened right now? If you see here, it has managed to upload the 20 MB file, which is our training data set and test data set, and all the other relevant files like test, train, requirements.txt and train.py and .git attributes. These files all got added to your repository. Now let me go here and go back. Yeah, so here you will notice all the files are getting present, which is 2 minutes ago. Okay, so here it is requirements.txt, train.py, everything is there. Now what we have to do is, let me go back to the steps, which is here. So go to the repo, click actions. Now we want to create our GitHub Actions pipeline. Okay, so what we'll do is, let me go here, which is this place, which is my repository, and here I have actions. Now you will see a lot of things that are going on here, but we want to set up our own GitHub Actions YAML. So what I'll do is, I'll click this one, and I'll take this piece of code from here, okay, till here, and I'll copy it. And once I copy it, I'll paste it here. Now instead of ML workflow, what I'll put here is ML GitHub Actions workflow. Okay, ML GitHub Actions. That's what the name I want to give for the workflow. Okay, now here for all those kind of changes, this kind of workflow, this is a workflow name, GitHub Action workflow name, and it got created inside .github/workflow, and this file is getting created, and this is the name of that specific workflow, ML GitHub Actions. Now, based on this push and pull request, this pipeline should get triggered. Okay, this is your event. Okay, this is your event, and this workflow should get triggered, and the permission is write all. You have the right permission to write all. And then what we are doing is we are building the job where we are passing the environment where it has to run and the kind of action it has to do. So here it has with LFS true, and this is when checkout has to be done. Okay, so let me go back here. Yeah, so you will see a bunch of actions that is happening. First is the ability to select an environment and checking out the GitHub repository, and then able to set up the this is for CML, is for continuous ML evaluation purpose. We are using this specific action. Okay, so first this is just the environment setup, and here what we are doing is we are installing the package, and then we are running the format in the backend, and what is the train file and how the evaluation has to be done. And we are also storing the GitHub token also, that I'll show you how to do. And then we want to run this file. So this is the final metric, right? You want to show metrics.txt on report.md. Okay, this is a markdown file that is getting created. And then we also want to show this PNG file on report.md. This is again the same file where we want to show the confusion matrix as well. And then we want to create a report.md at the final. We are committing that. Finally, we are committing it. Okay, so this is done. Okay, one thing, let me just commit these changes here. So it got created. Okay, workflow got created, and I want to talk about secrets now. So for this repo, which is ML GitHub Actions, okay, secrets, you can go ahead here, and then there is secrets and variables. Okay, under actions, you can add a new repository secret. I will just report token, I'll just paste this one. Okay, add this secret and done. Okay, for now this is done. Now what we have created is we have our actions, okay, which is for this repo. This is the action that is getting created. Actually, it is getting created right now. So let me click this. Okay, so let me click this again. Now if you see, all these steps are being done, okay, in the backend, setting up the job. Okay, so next is it is downloading certain Ubuntu kind of repository, right? Ubuntu runtime environment. It is loading that and then running this action which we saw in that YAML file which we created. And then this is the one for setting up CML, continuous machine learning. Okay, and then it is installing the package, which is done, running the format, this is done, training is done, and it also gave, this is the accuracy and this is the FN score. Okay, and this is the evaluation metric, and so it completed everything. Okay, so basically since I clicked this build pipeline, okay, so it executed the whole pipeline and it completed the job. Now, if I want to go here, right, somewhere here, evaluation, you will see I can click it here, and you will notice at the bottom, okay, as part of the commit, right, or the comment section, okay, you are seeing the confusion matrix plot. Okay, so this is what we have mentioned here, right, somewhere here, that PNG file report.md markdown. So this is done with the help of the YAML file which we created for GitHub Action YAML. Okay, now so we are at almost at the end, what I want to mention is few more things that I want to mention is here. Now what we have done is we are able to trigger the pipeline. Okay, if I go back here again, GitHub action, and if I trigger it again, okay, if I just click here and if I click this one build again, it will rerun. Okay, so now what will happen, right? Rerun all jobs. Okay, now what will happen is it will run again all the things from scratch. Okay, now this is one way of running the pipeline. Now second way is if I go to the repository here, and then I want to make some changes to some, maybe estimator is reduced to 75. Okay, this is one change that we want to do. Now what I'll do is I'll go here. Okay, I'll just first I have to do what git pull, because I added this one, the workflow, GitHub action workflow. So I want to pull that file first. So I will be doing git pull. So yeah, it got pulled. So we have this file now. Now what we want to do is git add, and which git commit -m changed, maybe what did I change? The number of estimator got changed estimator to 75. Okay, now git push origin main. So it will ask again. Now I'll just go back to this place, get this token. I'll just paste it here. I'm hoping this should work. And then pasting it. Okay, so now it got pushed. Okay, this is with the changes for estimator got changed to 75. Now if you see here, if I go actions again, it is still running, and this time it is changed estimator as 75, and it is running in the backend then experiment where the number of estimator is 75. Okay, so it took 17 seconds already, it's running. Okay, it's still installed, and we want to see the performance. Okay, and we have to check the evaluation metric, which we can see based on the comment section under report.markdown. So let us wait for this to complete and let us see how it works. So basically what we have done till now is, so we have done a lot of things. Okay, so we managed to create a pipeline, and we are able to run it through the CLI or making changes locally and then running it in the GitHub actions. So we have done a bunch of things. So if you see here, by making changes to n estimator as 75 instead of 100, the accuracy got changed from 83 or 84% to 86%. And FN score, which was earlier 0.69, it changed to 0.75. Okay, now you can see the report here also by clicking this link. Okay, and you will see what is the confusion matrix, and this is just a simple confusion matrix. You can do anything. Okay, for instance, you can run a validation error versus training error, and all those things can be done here, and we can keep track of it in the form of kind of a document here. Okay, so let me go back to this document readme. Okay, what we have done, we have committed this change and triggered the pipeline by action, and we rerun the pipeline, okay, which happened earlier, which we saw in the GitHub UI. And then we made changes in our code, which is like n estimators from 100 to 75. We committed it locally and then pushed it to the remote repository. Once it got pushed to the remote repository, it automatically triggered the pipeline, and for which we saw the result as 86% accuracy and FN of 0.75. Okay, so we are at the end of the video. I hope you were able to follow this tutorial, and if you have any questions, you can drop a comment. I'll be able to help you. Yeah. So with that, thank you for watching. Yeah. See you in the next.